Hello, a very good morning. Welcome to a beautiful day. It's a Tuesday, the 21st day of July 2026. And this morning, I want to say a very big thank you to you. A very good morning, Ghana, good morning, and welcome to another refreshing edition of the Morning Focus on MBN TV. I am El Samuels. It is always a privilege to have your company as we begin a brand new day together. You know, every sunrise, new opportunities, fresh perspective, and another chance to shape our nation through informed dialogue and responsible action. Here on Morning Focus, we don't just report the news, we examine the issues and also challenge the ideas and inspire solutions and amplify the voices that matters. That's what we do every morning. And this morning we'll bring you the day's top stories, in-depth discussion on the national issues, update on weather, traffic situation, our inspiring scripture focus, as well as the wisdom of Africa, the wisdom of the African proverb, and engaging conversation with experts and policymakers on the issues shaping Ghana today. So whether you are preparing for work, school, or on your daily hustle, thank you for making MBN your trusted morning companion. And this is Morning Focus, where every conversation matters and every voice counts. Before you step out this morning, let us take a look at today's weather, because right. So quickly before we bring you the weather, let's go straight to the phone line this morning. There's a lot of discussions coming on this morning, and this morning we all remember what has transpired with the WONTUMI issue. I mean, this morning we are looking at WONTUMI's 20-year sentence, a new dawn in the fight against galamsey, or a symbolic victory. Illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, has for years remained one of Ghana's most pressing national challenge, destroying forests, polluting rivers, threatening livelihoods, and also raising questions about political will and accountability. The recent conviction and the 20-year sentence handed to the MPP, Ashanti Regional Chairman, Bernard Ntwibosiakun, everybody knows him to be Chairman WONTUMI, has reignited the national conversation. Is this the beginning of a more impartial fight against illegal mining, or is there still more to be done? This morning we will hear from three distinguished guests, each bringing a unique perspective on the implication of this landmark judgment. Now we have our first person on the line, in the person of the Executive Director, the TK Center for Human Security and Peace Building, and we are looking at this topic. Our first guest has consistently advocated stronger governance accountability and the rule of law in addressing national security, environmental challenge. We are joined by Mr. Abdeep Sani, the Executive Director of the TK Center for Human Security and Peace Building. Good morning, sir. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Mr.
I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? Hello.
Mr. Abdisani, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
It's like we're having difficulties on the line.
He cannot hear me, but I can hear him.
Yes. But once we
Hello?
get him, we'll pick his thought.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me, sir? Hello. Hello. Well, I think a PCR, if you could do us good by checking up with us, and then if we can raise him on another line. Joining us is Mr. Abdeep Sani, the Executive Director of the TK Center for Human Security and Peace Building. He's a security analyst and governance expert with extensive experience in human security Public Policy, Conflict
Can
Prevention,
you hear me?
and National Affairs. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Mr. Sani,
Good.
can you please hear me?
I can hear you. Good
Great.
morning. Can you hear
It's
me?
good to have you this morning on the MBN TV, your mega broadcasting network. Now we're looking at the WONTUMI's 20-year sentence, a new dawn in the fight against Galamsey, or a symbolic victory. Whether the conviction strengthens the rule of law is what I'm looking at. What do you make of the conviction?
Well, thank you. And a very good morning to you, your production team, and your viewers. For us within the civil society space, it is a welcoming news. It is a giant step in the right direction in fighting Galamsey. It also sends a clear signal to the thousands more who are currently in the bush destroying our forest cover and poisoning our rivers. But it is not the end. We don't want it to end with Chairman Wontumi, even though, like I indicated, it's a great step in ensuring accountability. We think that this should mark the basis for a lot more convictions to come going forward.
Now, we're looking at a lot, but what is the implication of this matter in terms for governance and public confidence?
Well, in criminology, there's something we call rational choice theory. So it's based on the simple premise: as human beings, we are rational beings. So before anyone perpetrates a crime, the person is able to rationalize between the risk and the reward factors. So if I feel that if I perpetrate this crime, nobody will hold me to account because it has become the norm. Everybody does it. Nobody arrests anyone. As a rational being, I might be incentivized into perpetrating that crime. But if I feel that now the system has changed, Chairman Wontumi has been arrested, see how powerful he is, he's in prison, I would be naturally at the same time or invariably be disincentivized from perpetrating that crime. So this is a sordid reminder to the fact that mining sites or communities are not Wild Wests. We're a country that is governed by the rule of law. If you are engaged in illegal mining in contravention of the Minerals Act, you would be held to account, and it's as simple as that. Because at a point, it became a free-for-all. If you have money, you have political influence, you can decide to go grab a forest area or a riverbank and mine as much as you can. Nobody cares. Even foreigners were doing same, destroying our resources, going back to their countries to enjoy their resources. A clear case in point is Aisha 1. What happened? Nothing. Anas did some investigative piece in which Charles Bisu and co were all involved. What happened? Nothing. It was a free-for-all. So there was no confidence whatsoever. So when this government came, we told them, look, as part of your efforts in fighting illegal mining, this is what and what we want you to do. And one of it is accountability, holding these illegal miners to account. And they said, okay, fine, we are committed. So surely what has happened is a clear manifestation of the commitment of this government to ensuring this stops once and for all. But I hope, like I keep saying, it doesn't stop with Chairman Wontumi. A lot more people would have to be held to account.
Talking about a lot more people will have to be held for account. That brings in the role of accountability. How accountable are we going to be as a nation in combating the illegal mining?
Well, the thing is, when I see people even attaching politics to it, I cringe. Because the question you should ask yourself is, was the right process, was due process followed in ensuring accountability? Yes, because it went to court, the state provided this evidence. Chairman Wontumi had the right, and of course he did it, hire a lawyer, and they defended him. And in the end, the court of competent jurisdiction found him guilty. The minimum sentence for such a crime is 15 years. The maximum is 25 years. So I think there was a convergence point, and they gave him 20 years. But that is up to the wisdom of the court. So if you ask me, I think this is real accountability in action. Okay.
Right.
And this restores to a large extent some level of confidence in the system. Because if you ask me, at the point I lost complete confidence, I felt, look, there's no commitment. Let it just be the way it is. Okay. And lo and behold, this Chairman Wontumi issue came up, and I was closely watching alongside my other colleagues within the civil society space. So yesterday, when we had the news, we were so happy about it, and we wish to pray that it continues.
Now, looking at things from how things have unfolded, how impartial enforcement can contribute to national security and environmental protection.
I didn't get the question. Can you please come again?
Yes, I'm saying that looking at how things are now unfolding, how impartial enforcement can contribute to national security and also the environmental protection.
Impartial enforcement cannot contribute to national security or environmental protection. Okay. Sorry, I'm coming. Sorry. Okay. So, sorry. Let me come again. The thing is, there shouldn't be any politics attached to this. So I agree with you. It should be impartial. Rather, I thought I heard partial.
No.
Impartiality is the way to go. Oblivion of your status, of your political inclinations, you are supposed to be held to account if you fall foul of the law. They say the law is the law, wrong is wrong, right is right. Okay? So when I hear people come out to hold news conferences and call it political persecution, I'm sorry to say they are enemies of the state. These are not patriotic people. Because look, I have been to mining sites, my brother. Look, I've been to Eastern region. I've been, as for Ashanti region, you don't even need to go to a mining site. Just travel from Konongo to Ejisu. On the main road, your right, your left side, you see them. They are mining. Western region and so many other places. I've been to medical facilities, my brother. I've seen how women give birth to babies without nose, without mouth, with very terrible looking features. That brings them a lot of stigma because they attach spirituality to it. I've seen how people are sick due to cancer because the rivers that they poisoned with very dangerous chemicals is what people drink. They don't have access to potable drinking water. And so with all of this that is happening, the destruction of the forest, the destruction of Ghana, you come out to say political persecution. You are not serious. You are an enemy of the state. And Ghanaians are watching. There are a lot of sensible Ghanaians, very level-headed Ghanaians, who are able to read between the lines. Why? Is it because he's a politician? Is it because he's Chairman Wontumi? Is he not a human being? Is he not a Ghanaian? Is he not like you and I? So Chairman Wontumi is beyond the law. What? This is not how to build a nation, my brother. This is not how to build a nation. People bigger than him have fallen foul of the law. They've been held to account. They are in prison. So because it's Chairman Wontumi, no, he's above the law. What kind of a people are these?
Now, moving forward, I know your center has consistently called for accountability. Does this convention demonstrate that accountability is finally taking root?
I wouldn't want to run before I walk. Surely it is a good step, but accountability is a big word. You know, a lot more has to be done. But for now, we are headed on a path to accountability, and I hope it continues.
Now, beyond the convictions, what practical steps should government prioritize to achieve a lasting success against this illegal mining?
I've always indicated that this has become very complex because we've allowed it to fester for a very long time. And so it has become a subculture. And you know how difficult it is to erase a culture.
Sure.
Now people walk around, oh, Miye Galamsey, and it's a big deal. Like they have wealth. Some time ago, I was selling my car. I sold it for 1 month in Accra, but couldn't get a buyer. And someone said, "You are wasting your time. Take it to an illegal mining community." Within 1 hour, someone would buy the car. And truly, I didn't take it there, but you know, a dealer spoke with some guys at the mining site, and within a day, these people came to Accra and bought the car.
Wow.
They have so much money, okay? And so I think that in stopping this, we need to adopt a multi-structured approach.
Okay.
It is a very complex issue, like I said. So we need to deal with issues of providing safety nets for especially young people engaged in illegal mining. If we ask them to stop, do we have any job for them?
That's another thing, right?
What the guns at the illegal mining sites, because sometimes they get robbed after they mine the minerals, so they have a lot of guns there. What happens to those guns? The local economy, because for a lot of illegal mining communities, I mean, business is booming, so to speak. Restaurants are doing well, hotels are doing well, landlords are putting up buildings because a lot of these young men come from other places to the area and they rent and they are willing to pay any amount. Food sellers are doing well. And so if we ask it to stop, what happens to the local economy? What do we do about that? Then the issues of reversing all the damage that has been done, the forests, the rivers, and all that. That is why I think that we need to be deliberate and more scientific in our approach to dealing with this issue. Emotions won't help us stop illegal mining, and there's the need for the greatest sense of responsibility. We can work collaboratively with the police, with the military, and other security services. Work very closely with civil society organizations because we are on the ground. We engage the people day in, day out. They respect us, they trust us. Okay? If you engage us, we can proffer a lot of solutions. We can even be the engaging partners, sort of. Politicians can be behind supporting them. We, the civil society, we are on the ground, engaging, especially in sensitization efforts to get the people to understand that, look, this is not the way to your salvation. There are other big things you can do. And education is also key. A lot of them, they don't go to school. All they care about is galamsey. It's either galamsey or fraud. I saw a video of a little boy who said, "Oh, he's going to drop out of school, and that he's going into fraud." Okay, so we need to look at our educational system also. It's too theoretical. I mean, Go and learn what is the matter, define matter. Fine, you can learn those things, but I think it is important that it becomes practical, just as we have it with the ancient tigers. So at least after school, you can do something meaningful with your life rather than wearing a tie and holding a brown envelope with your CV in it looking for a job. So it involves a lot, I must say. And governments cannot do it alone. Development partners would have to come in. The media also has a very important role to play in that regard. Civil society, security agencies, the chiefs, very important stakeholder, you know, because if they say A, it is A.
Yeah.
If they say B, it is B. And the people listen to them and respect them more than the politicians.
Well, people respect them more than the politician. I know you press with time, but let me pick your thought on this one before I will let you go. Because if you look at transition, anytime there's a transition from successive government, it becomes like the Galamsey become rampant. My question is, how can successive government ensure that the fight against Galamsey does not change with the political transitions?
Commitment. I do know that when a government is new, recently I was on West Africa Democracy Radio and we're discussing fighting terrorism in transition periods, especially in the Sahel. And it's a major issue. And so if a political party, if government changes hands from one political party to another, sometimes they need a little time to organize, to put things in order, to understand the system. And so by the time they do, Galamsey would have festered a bit. There are elements who belong to the two major political parties who are engaged in Galamsey. Okay, so with time, if the government is able to deal with all of these people, it really helps. And it would also interest you to know that some of these Galamseyers cut across party lines. They operate whether NDC in power or MPP is in power because they are rich. They fund the political parties. Okay, so when they come, they would have to pay homage. And it is, I must say, a problem. So being cognizant of this fact, we can put together strategies to deal with it because Galamseyers in some cases run like criminal networks, like criminal syndicates. We have the kingpins at the top who you might never ever find at a Galamsey site. They are in major towns and villages, Accra, Kumasi, and the rest. But they bankroll these guys on the ground through middlemen who engage in the Galamsey. You see, some people they are in Galamsey, but you will never find their name attached to any Galamsey issue. Okay, so intelligence gathering also plays a very major role because if you are able to stop these people from bankrolling, hopefully will starve the people on the ground from the resources they would need to engage in Galamsey.
Any message you would like to send to our policymakers, our political leaders, and as well as Ghanaian following this landmark judgment?
I think an MPP should stop what they are doing. They are proving to everybody they don't mean well for the country. Because if you mean well for Ghana, you wouldn't do what you did. You should stop the political nonsense and approach things the way it should. Everything you do as a Ghanaian should first of all be in the interest of the country. So with all this distraction happening, and someone is held to account, all you know about, you don't ask whether the person is right or wrong. All that matters to you is whether he's MPP or NDC. Well, is that how to build a nation?
Adip Sani, MBN, we want to say a big thank you to you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
talking to Adik Sani. He's a security expert. We're looking, we're looking at the WONTUMI's 20 years. And Habib, we want to thank you very much for sharing your insight with us this morning. We appreciate your time and your thoughtful perspective on this important and national issue. The fight against Galamsey is about more than one conviction. It's about protecting Ghana's environment, strengthening the rule of law, and also ensuring that accountability applies equally to everyone. And as today's discussion highlights, the lasting success will depend on strong institution, consistent enforcement, and also collective commitment of government, political leaders, civil society, and every Ghanaian. Thank you once again for joining us. I will wish you all the best in your continued work at the Jakite Center for Human Security and also Peace Building. You're still watching The Morning Focus on MBN TV. Stay with us because after the break, we continue the conversation from a policy and governance perspective. This time around, we'll be talking to Peter Bismarck-Kofi, a policy analyst, a social entrepreneur, and also a founder of the Institute for Liberty and Policy Innovation in LAPI. We'll also examine whether this landmark conviction points to policy reforms Ghana needs to win the fight against Galamsey. Once we get Peter on the line, we'll put him on the line. We'll be talking about in between time, and now let's go straight away to look at our weather and its updates. Just be prepared that we have some more conversation coming up. We're talking to Peter. I'll also be talking to Madame Awula Sewa also this morning with regards to same subjects but different angles of the conversation this morning. So those are the things we will be doing. We will be doing this morning. So there's a lot coming up this morning already. But let's straight away go to the weather and its updates. If my team is ready, let's look at the weather first, and I will bring you the traffic report, and then we go straight away to bring you some conversation. Don't forget to be engaging the nurse from the Lekma Polyclinic, now Nungwa Polyclinic. We'll be talking about hypertension and hepatitis, right? We'll be looking at that too as well this morning. But for now, the weather and its updates. Before you step out this morning, let's take a look at today's weather, because understanding the weather is more than deciding whether to carry an umbrella. It is about planning your day wisely and staying safe. That is why you need a weather report. Across many parts of the country, expect a mix of cloudy skies and sunny intervals with the possibility of morning mist in some areas and isolated showers later in the day, particularly in the southern, the middle belt. Motorists should remain cautious, especially where roads may become slippery after the rain. So the weather affects every aspect of our lives, from agriculture, transportation to business and public health. Staying informed help us prepare better and help us reduce the risk and make smarter decisions throughout the day. Whatever the focus, let's make today productive, safe, and purposeful. And we look at it straight. If you look at the patterns in the morning, we're expecting some rains in some other areas. The morning parts of the northern half of the country are expected to experience thunderstorms or rain of varying intensity. Meanwhile, the southern Ghana will remain under mostly cloudy condition with a mist of fog patches forming over the coastal forest and mountainous areas during the early hours. As the day progresses into the afternoon, sunshine with occasional cloud cover will prevail across the country. However, thunderstorms or rains are still likely over parts of the northern sector and fewer areas within the transition belt. The coast minimum temperature will be 23 degrees, a maximum of 30 degrees. The forest expectant of 23 degrees, maximum 32. Transition minimum 22, maximum 33. The northern sector, it is 24 and a maximum of 34 degrees. So that is our weather update for this morning. So whatever the forecast, let's make today productive, safe, and purposeful. Purposeful. Away from there, now let's turn our attention to the roads. They are very important. We go to the roads this morning from the weather. Let's do the roads, and then we look at the traffic situation in our various parts of the central business district of the country. That is what we're going to look at. So we look at the weather. As another busy working day begins, expect increase in traffic volumes on major routes are leading into cities and business districts. Congestion is common during the morning rush, but patience and discipline remains our greatest tool for safer roads. So every delay reminds us that road safety is a shared responsibility. Speeding, distracted driving, dangerous overtaking, ignoring traffic regulations not only increases travel time but also put lives at risk. So as you travel this morning, plan ahead, obey the road signs, respect fellow road users, and remember that arriving safely is always more important than quickly. So now let's all do our part to make Ghana roads safer. So what is the traffic situation this morning? I know most of you are driving this morning will be wondering where to pass and where not to pass. We're going to look at some of the various areas. We know traffic is building steadily on the most major routes in the central business districts as commuters make their way to work and school. Motorists should expect a slow-moving traffic on the George Walker Bush, that's the N1 highway, particularly around the Achimota, La Paz, and Kwashiman stretch. Congestion is also increasing along the Accra-Tema motorway, especially towards the Tetekwashi interchange. So Accra-Tema motorway is also one of the areas you should look at. So the slow moving traffic on the George Walker Bush N1 highway around the Achimota, La Paz, Kwashiman stretch. Congestion is also increasing along the Accra Tema motorway, especially towards the Tetekwashi interchange. Drivers using the Springtest Road, the Graphic Road, Carnation Circle, the Kwame Nkrumah interchange, 37 Military Hospital, and the Independent Avenue should anticipate moderate to heavy traffic during the morning peak period. Movement remains relatively smoother on some inner roads, but travel times are expected to increase as the rush hour intensify. So as always, we are encouraging motorists to leave a little earlier if possible, observe the speed limit and traffic regulations, avoid distracted driving, including the use of your mobile phones, be courteous to other road users and pedestrians. So you can see on the background the build-up on the motorway also. Remember, arriving safely is far more important than arriving quickly. A few extra minutes of patience can help prevent accident and also save life. So that is your traffic update. We will continue to monitor the roads and bring you the latest throughout the morning focus on MBN TV. Have a safe and productive day. Have a safe and productive day. So that is the traffic buildup around all those areas taking shape. As we move on. So that is our traffic situation for this morning, running route with us. So for those of you at home, the build-up has already started. Now, away from the traffic, let's go straight away to our scripture for this morning. And our scripture reading is from the book of Proverbs chapter 16, the verse 3. Proverbs chapter 16, the verse 3 is the scripture for this morning that will be said, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. So that is our scripture for this morning. MCR, if you could display the scripture on screen for us, that will be fine. That will be fine with us this morning. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish you. Well, remember that every successful day begins with purpose. Not just purpose, preparation and dependence on God. Every successful day begins with purpose, preparation, and dependence on God. And whilst we make plans and pursue our goals with diligence, true success comes when our ambitions aligns with God's wisdom and guidance. So the verse reminds us that no dream is too small to place before God, and no challenge is too great for him to help us overcome. As you begin today's journey, whether at work, in business, at school, or at home, commit every decision to God. We're looking at Proverbs, the chapter 16, the verse 3. The Proverbs chapter 16, the verse 3 is the scripture for this morning. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. So every successful day begins with a purpose, preparation, and dependence on God. Whilst we make plans and pursue our goals with diligence, true success comes when our ambitions aligns with God's wisdom and guidance. The verse is reminding us that no dream is too small to place before God. No challenge is too great for him to help us overcome. And as you begin today's journey, whether at work, in business, or at school, or at home, commit every decision into God's hands and trust him to direct your path. You know, your success is within you. It's a choice, because already God has made you successful. He's the one that knows the end. So there's the future, he has prepared it already. Now you begin to work towards it. So life is a process. So may today's efforts produce lasting results, and may God's favor go before you in all that you do this morning. And that is the time we need to be with you with the word of God. So commit thy works today into the hands of God. And don't forget to join us at the moment of miracle at the Maranatha Power Ministries International today at exactly 10 a.m. 10 a.m. sharp. So that's how it works. So remember to be part of Today is another opportunity for you to encounter the power and the presence of God. Join us this Tuesday for the moment of miracle at the Maranatha Power Ministries International, 10 a.m. The venue is the Maranatha Power Ministries, Nungwa Adogono, behind now Nungwa Polyclinic, formerly Lekma Polyclinic. Come with faith and expectation as we gather for a life-changing time of prayer, worship, the word of God, and divine intervention. Whatever your need, God is still in the business of performing miracles, healing the sick, restoring hope, and transforming lives. So don't come alone. I encourage you to invite your family, your friends, and loved ones to experience God's miracle working power. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Hebrews 13:8. We look forward to welcoming you. Your miracle awaits you. And I keep telling you, when I was growing up, there's one thing I learned from Oral Robert. He said, don't give up. Your miracle is on the way. So we look forward to welcoming you. Your miracle awaits you at the church auditorium. Pick the numbers on the line on the screen. If you lost your direction, you can call. We direct you to the church auditorium. Don't wait till 10 a.m. before you leave home. When it's 9, depending on your distance, you can set off and be in the church and start praying before the rest joins us. And that's it for this morning. Our scripture focus. Don't forget the 30th anniversary is also coming off from the 1st to the 6th of September 2026 at the church auditorium. Come, let's celebrate God's faithfulness. God has been good to hold his church together for the 30th year, and this year is going to be awesome. And I want you to be there. I invite you to be a partaker and also support, partner with the 30th anniversary celebration. And trust me, God will meet you at the point of your needs. I don't know what your needs are, but if you partner with the celebration of God's faithfulness on the 30th anniversary, something spectacular is going to happen to you. 30. What is in 30? 30, what is it? When they say 30, what is it? We all look at all those things. And today in question is the 21st day of July 2025. Biblical 30. I want you 30th anniversary. Oh my goodness. God is at work. So see you at this morning, 10 a.m. at the church premises, Maranatha Power Ministry. And that draws a curtain on bringing you our scripture focus for this morning. Remember, we'll be having a conversation this morning with our first conversation is gone with Adib Sani when we spoke about the Galamsey issue. We'll dive into other issues as well. But let's do our African proverbs for this morning. So when the spider web unites, what happens? They can tie up a lion. When the spider web unites, they can tie up a lion. The timeless African proverb teaches the extraordinary power of unity. Individually, a spider's web appears fragile, but together, countless strength becomes remarkably strong. The lessons for us is clear. Communities thrive when people work together. Nations progresses when leaders and citizens share a common purpose. Families succeed when they stand together through challenges. As Ghanaians, our greatest strength lies not in our differences, but our ability to unite around solutions that builds a better future for everyone. And that is our African proverbs for today. I've been doing much of the talking for the past almost an hour now. We'll be diving into our discussions on health. But before we do the health discussion, which is coming up in the next 8 minutes from now, let's look at the headline stories. What is on the paper this morning? What are the papers capturing for the morning? And we start with the Economic Times. The Economic Times says mining sector set for a major regulatory overhaul as cabinet approved new law reforms. A key fiscal and monetary policy decisions due this week is also on the front pages on the Economic Times. And it said, tall central expansion to meet 70% of Ghana's fuel demand. That's a good news, isn't it? Ghana could meet about 70% of the demand for refined petroleum products through domestic production when expansion program at the Tema Oil Refinery and the Central Oil Refinery are completed. Government said that's the sum of the story there, and government has approved a sweeping amendment to the Minerals and Mining Act for submission to the Parliament, setting the stage of one of the most significant overhaul of Ghana's mining regulatory framework in mostly 2 decades of authority seeks to do. Stories on the Economic Times. Away from the Economic Times, let's do the inside. WONTUMI jailed 20 years for Galamsey. MPP vows to appeal Sawum sentence with hard labor. Government to build 50,000 houses for teachers under Teacher Dabre Initiative, according to the Sector Minister Haruna Idrisu. Youth Development Ministry launches Germany Labor Exchange Program as it's open Europe jobs for Ghanaian youth. Then we have the story, Nene Asamoah appeals for peace development in Great Ningo as traditional council affirms legitimacy. MMDC must be empowered to lead Ghana's sanitation revolution, says Professor Kofi Anoche. Suhum MC gets thumbs up by the community, the Akokroso communities over achievement. Okay, so those are the stories on the Inside newspaper. Away from the Inside, we do the New Republic. It has Galamsey Baron jailed. The picture of, I don't know whether to say, okay, the chairman of the NPP, Ashanti Regional Chairman. Government rejects last minute a gambit as WONTUMI begins 20 years stretch. WONTUMI abandoned on Judgment Day. It's also there. Atachia flees, no flag bearer, no executive, no allies, only silence. A new era for investment in Ghana. National Investment Registry launched, investor rules liberalized, and 2025 FDI figures expected in August. Edubuahin 49 million ghost system, Judgment Day nears as AG closes case this week. Page 9 has a story. Massive boost for Volta. Mahama unveils bold development agenda. Jonas Company under siege in Abuja. Ghana Group calls for repairer as a contagious xenophobic sickness hits Nigeria. It's also there. Atuguba rips MPs judges. Slums lack of nationalism. Corruption on bench in explosive memorial lecture. Stories on the New Republic. The Catalyst also has a story of WONTUMI, and it says that WONTUMI 20 years Galamsey hammer. High Court convened Akunta mining boss on 4 counts. Others of 42 of excavators, vehicles, guns, and mining assets. NPA fires back. No financial loss, no corruption. Authorities reject Roth's claims, says Auditor General's report was misinterpreted. Right. Okay, it was misrepresented. Okay, we'll see. GMFTF advances Volta Region healthcare agenda as cardiology center plans take shape. WONTUMI not alone. MPP Justin Kodia accuses government of selective justice. Party rejects conviction on Travity. Okay, stories on the catalyst. Now let's do the Spiral newspaper has this headline: the government rolls out 331 million US dollars education research, include massive SHST vet expansion, CSSPAS overhaul, and long-term funding drive. Digital daylight robbery, thousands lose millions as CWPC Ponzi scheme collapses. It also has the WONTUMI jailed term ignite national firearm. The firestorm is there. West Ghana demands tough-up exercise to combat NCDS. Here's a picture of Julius Deborah also belated. The archives say Galamsey swallows first kingpin as WONTUMI jail 20 years. Anti-Galamsey campaigners demand harsher punishment. Over 600 projects undergoing in the Volta region, and in Volta under Mahama regional minister reveals more to follow. Mahama cares already saving lives. From the archives, we do the daily guide. It also has the WONTUMI stories. The WONTUMI jail 20 years, fined 300K for illegal mining. MPP vows to appeal WONTUMI's conviction. SC affirms High Court ruling against APSL. Police nab 5 land guards, seized guns and ammunition. Dr. Maxwell Boache sponsors student eco-tourism trip. Story on the daily guide. Daybreak. Minority challenges High Court ruling against WONTUMI. GRA auctions cost state millions. Fortified rice sold for below market value. Ages report NPA fight financial loss claims. Suhum MPP supporters seek fresh dialogue to restore confidence. Radio Go DJ caught in 200K land scam. Daybreak has the story. The National Enquirer. 14 years on, Ghana's tribute at a mills tomorrow. Setting the record straight, Auditor General's report highlights systemic reforms, not 78 million Ghana cedis rot at NPA. Tor receives 1 million barrels of indigenous Jubilee crude. Story is there. The business analysts also have the WONTUMI conviction based on assumption, not proof, NPP. Summary boy mining case WONTUMI jail 20 years. BOG ends gold board refined pre-financing arrangement. It's also there on the business analysts. The searchlights. Anti-Galamsey coalition questions NADMO's selective enforcement. It means that NADMO is doing selective enforcement, isn't it? WONTUMI conviction is also there. That story is also there. WONTUMI political prisoner is also there. Minority Islam, WONTUMI jail term. I think it's the same story, but the different angles of it. The Daily Dispatch. Ghanaians gave me an additional 1 term of 4 years. Mahama. A ministerial reshuffle soon. Mahama hints Ghanaians. He also has a WONTUMI story there. Paul Afoko on why he is the best to lead the NPP now. Crackdown of illegal siren. Police impose 6,000 vehicles. Impound 6,000 vehicles. Who are doing 6,000. Hey, crackdown on illegal siren. Police impound 6,000 vehicles in Ghana. Whoa. The Hawk newspaper, why is MPP sacred of tribunals? With a question mark, party that sold itself as champion of rule of law now leads opposition to tribunals. GBC swapped 1.2 million airtime for a ghost house. Audit raises questions over missing Katamanto property. Ghana Gas pays 24.5 million for half-built project. Audit report exposes 12.2 million overpaid on unfinished block. Hey, what a country. The Chronicle says the minority declares WONTUMI political prisoner. Then as the law lords dismiss APL's 33.3 million US dollars claim against the Jasmine construction. Why WONTUMI was jailed? If you want to know why, it's also there in the Chronicle. Accra to host Pan-African Cup on the political reforms is also there. Oh, I wish I could read the scripture, but it's long and it's deemed. The Ghanaian Times has the man in the yellow and blue fight against illegal mining WONTUMI jail 20 years. MPP rejects conviction, heads to court of appeal. A Greek minister defends in Kuko Nketin project. BOG stops gold purchase pre-financing arrangement. 4 in 10 cancer cases preventable. Government reviews CSSPS to address placement challenges. Ghanaian Times. The Daily Graphic. President tasked ECOWAS to implement protocols on xenophobic attacks. Cabinet approved 331 million to end SHS double track. MIIF posts 1.1 billion profits in 2025. Galamsey. The Galamsey have WONTUMI jailed 20 years. And that happened to be the final newspaper on the desk this morning. We go for a break. When we return, conversation with the Lekma Polyclinic. All right, so welcome back to the morning focus on MBN TV. Health, as we often say, is our greatest wealth. Good health is not only about treating illness when it occurs, but also making informed choices that help us prevent diseases and improve the quality of our lives. This morning, we are turning our attention to three important health topics that affect many individuals and families: hypertension prevention, the relationship between clothing and health, and circumcision. So whilst these topics may seem unrelated, they all highlight the importance of a healthy lifestyle, personal hygiene, and informed healthcare decisions. To help us better understand these issues, we are joined by our health experts in the person of Madame Sheila Aye. Good morning, Madame Aye.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Great.
Thank
Now,
you.
I'm fine. Now, let's go straight to our conversation this morning. When we say hypertension, hypertension is always referred to as a silent killer. Why is it given that name?
Thank you. My greetings to our viewers or the listeners. When we say hypertension, and why it's a silent killer, because when you have the hypertension, or we use the word BP in short form, we use the word BP so that people will know what exactly we are talking about. But that is hypertension at the same time. It's a silent killer because when you have, or when it's high, you will not know, and by the time you realize you are on the ground like that it can kill you easy as that. That's why we use the word silent killer, because you don't know whether it is high or it's at the same level where it's supposed to be.
Oh, so that's why it's called a silent killer. So how would you know? Because it is called silent killer because many people have high blood pressure without noticeable symptoms. By the time warning signs appear, serious damage may have already occurred to the heart, the brain, the kidney, or the eyes. Now, how widespread is hypertension in Ghana, and who is at most risk?
Thank you. Hypertension is widespread in everywhere in Ghana because it's a lifestyle, and most of us, we think, oh, when we take in spaghetti, indomie, then it means you are rich. But those kind of, or when you drink alcohol, you have 2 bottles, 3 bottles of alcohol, and you are taking, then it means the money is there. So most of the time, that's why this hypertension or high BP comes in, because we think the money is there. We do what we think we can do.
So it's a lifestyle choice.
Yeah.
Right. So hypertension, like she's saying, is a public health challenge in Ghana, and it's affecting a significant portions of our adults. The risk is higher among older adults and with people with family history of hypertension, and those who are overweight or obese. Like it's saying, we are eating those late junk food and we think we are rich, we are living our own lifestyle. Physical inactivity individuals, smokers, heavy alcohol users, and people living with diabetes or kidney disease all have these issues. But what are the most common causes or risk factors when it comes to the blood pressure, the BP?
The BP, we don't actually have what it causes. But as I said, it's our lifestyle, the way we do our things, the way we behave, that brings the high blood pressure or the BP. And one is stress. Most of us work, and I like onipa ni ye juma or ya ma wa brekra or si membre. And when it's like that, Emma BP nikoso, high blood pressure nikoso. And the you have to rest. Ese unjai de oye bia na humi kakra. obi wo ha ebia yese chinchina esa di we onye no nwe at this time nti onu so because of the time ya man and all for say obewie na like ansa we humi ba say ohwa then you yourself wa na okohu nipa na ka fine but my auntie say oh my bread. So let me rest for some time. I'll continue. And yes, but you continue. And now, ebia, it's you yourself. You are doing the work, and you are seeing that you are tired, but still you said, "Oh, let me complete it before I rest." No. Well, oh yeah, now bra. Just relax. Who me? Obi waha like you think, oh, I can't sleep. Fine. If you can't sleep, you rest. You be on the bed and rest. It's also part of it. Na sa high blood pressure no onkonya enti stress ka ho ema nipa enya blood pressure no and stress ni so it's not only about work be ebinum adwen no odwin bebre say ne bibi enkoso yie emma no or she think oh everybody have rejected him or her enti bibi na obisa yenye ma no enti de bia na adwini aye bebre o yesa o ma adwini ebre enu so e distress ni ba enti at the end na e ma obi pine e kosoro afen so yenye exercise bebre na yenye exercise ye ko baby we think oh ahani has can po here let me take dropping let me take a car let me na wa faka na ese anka on 90 na wa faka so when it's like that it make your BP go high because of say exercise no onye na ontumi ye no na it's not only about walking penso na etumi ye exercise but o fear upeja wonsa we upeja wonan we wa koto kakra wa peja ohun kakra all those things is also exercise so it's not about going to the gym say chinchina ukofa dade na udi kwosoro eba udina dade ni so machine so na ede wo nanti kwa ba it's only about that one is the exercise but even walking is also an exercise so we need to walk because when you don't walk it bring the high blood pressure and then also alcohol the more we take alcohol it makes your blood pressure go high after so say cigarettes when you take in tobacco cigarettes and those other things also make the blood pressure go high and the way we eat as I earlier said on some people when they are cooking they use more oil and they think oh when it's like that the way the food is palatable is nice so immediately they see the way the food then they are okay but ask yourself as you are eating that oil where does it go because when you cook the stew or the soup and the oil is there like that and you are taking it small by the time you realize your food is finished when you finish taking it ask yourself the oil that was on the food where does it go it has gone inside you like that so when it's like that it brings high blood pressure and at times even diabetes because diabetes and hypertension goes together you can get diabetes at the same time getting hypertension you can get hypertension at the same time getting diabetes so when you take in the oil then it means your BP or your blood pressure goes high or you get diabetes at the same time and then also when it's in the family mostly maybe in the family they take alcohol so one person will die they say it's because of blood pressure other person dies they will say it's because of blood pressure and she say kosusa nipa baaku mienu ewu family ni mo there is it's easily for you the third person also to get the high blood pressure because akoye say bibi wo family ni mo the family they are all doing it it's a lifestyle any blood pressure ba and see aku mienu no then the third person can also die with that high blood pressure and see family history and suma blood pressure ko nipa ana nipa nya blood pressure. And these are some of the lifestyles Emma nipanya high blood pressure. But as say ebia BP potency Emma enunubano it's not there.
Okay, so more or less you are stating say excessive salt intake, being overweight or obese, lack of physical activity, smoking, excessive alcohol consumption, chronic stress, and unhealthy diet, increasing in a family history are all part to play. Now, you've also mentioned there's a we should look at our exercising regularly, maintaining a healthy weight, and also avoiding tobacco and limiting alcohol. How important are regular blood pressure checks, even for people who feel healthy?
Thank you. Blood pressure is checking every week. It's supposed to be done in a week, 3 days, every 3 days in a week. But at least in 2 weeks, 3 weeks time, you can be checking your blood pressure, even though you are. And how will you even know you are healthy? Because for you to get to know your blood pressure, unless you check, you can be there walking up and down, you can be eating good food, you can be doing your exercise as well, everything you think of. But unless you check the blood pressure before you get to know that I'm healthy, we are talking of getting blood pressure.
So regular screening is the best way to go?
Yes, please.
Regular screening is the best way to go because since hypertension often has no symptoms, so it's better for you to do regular screening. Early diagnosis allows for timely treatment and helps prevent complications. Can hypertension be prevented entirely or maybe only managed?
Oh, thank you. It's prevented because it's lifestyle. So it depends on us as individual. As we said, some risk factors are there. Family history, not doing exercise, taking alcohol, tobacco, stress, and then obesity. When you are at times when we say obesity, we think when someone is fat. You can see someone that is fat, but it doesn't mean the person is obese. But when you check the weight and the height, there you get to know whether the person is obese or not. But mostly we use the fat people to see that this person is obese. So most of the times, those that are they are slim, they would rather be the obese. Even the one that you think is fat will not even be the obese. So by checking your weight and the height, there you get to know, oh, fine, then I'm fat or I'm obese. So when it's like that, you need to check your weight, your height, as you be checking your BP as well. So when you check, and the way the reading goes will tell you, oh, you are obese, or the way the weight and the height, that's a BMI. So when they check the BMI, oh, fine, the way it is, your weight is okay. Like the heavy of you is okay. Or when they check, oh no, like you need to eat well or do this and that, then the weight will be okay for you. So that one also is part. And then also the way we take alcohol. To stop taking alcohol and tobacco is not easy. So what we advise is when you take 2 bottles of alcohol, take 1. When you take 1, take half. When you take half, take quarter. So by the time you realize you are done, you've stopped taking the alcohol or the tobacco like that. Some, they think it's not easy like that, but there's someone who have done that and now it has helped him. Because by then he was taking alcohol and now gradually when he stops, he was taking Coke, especially when there's a gathering, when there's a family gathering or funeral and those things. Because of the friends have been taking it, he's also there taking his Coke as time goes on, they started taking bottled water only when there's a gathering. And the friends will be there and they'll be looking at him that, hey, this person have stopped taking alcohol like that. Yeah. Because he took it upon himself that he wants to stop. So gradually, he stopped taking the alcohol. So our advice is those that are taking alcohol, when you are taking two, make it one. When you are taking one, make it half. When you are taking half, make it quarter. By the time you realize you are done like that, then you stop taking the alcohol or the tobacco. Then also, stress, the way we work. Let's when you think you are tired, just stop whatever you are doing, wherever you have reached. Just put a stop to it. Sleep or relax. Then you come back again. Don't say, oh, you want to finish what you are doing, then you then go and rest or you then go and sleep. But you say, wa brain no home na koda kakra ana ye relax kakra na wa betua ejuma ne so stress yen share stress because the brain especially in Ghana no I say obia ejuma but once ejuma no then you think of your health too because eno so hu hia nti men kan say ejuma na wa brain no unhume no ene umbua oman Ghana neso because when you are there you help yourself, you are helping the country, you are helping your family as well.
You're helping yourself, you're helping your country, you're helping yourself as well. Now, let me divert a bit from hypertension. At least we've given us some enough education on it. Can the type of clothing we wear affect our health?
Yes, it affects because some dresses that we wear are not talibia. Yes, no, they might affect our health. Say, like how the weather is now. Yale wom inframane airborne. Yale wom at say kata. Betumi anya cold womu. Ha, enti say atarena ocean no cover. Say uncover no, and you are being exposed no, you can easily get cold and katana mekano. So our dressing affects.
Wow, our dressing affects. It means a certain time of day.
Yeah.
So that is important for you to know the weather and know what kind of clothes. Because some clothes in a heated area will attract a lot of heat. I wish it dark or the tea. How important is proper underwear hygiene? How important is that?
Because atare bi wo ho a usha ebi wo ho akra is light se na say munye dura o hye na inframa emfemu no. That's the hygiene you are talking of. And the no because I am light no inframa need to be femu even though you've even covered yourself, but inframa femu na ama edi yale aba ba o hye de munye duru inframa ain't me femuno. You are safe like that.
All right, so we're still talking health this morning. You can also share your thoughts with us on 0537158638 is the number. So also be to me after Ebia will be calm. Now, your circumcision. What is it? I know so you tell us about circumcision and why is it performed? Are they proving medical benefit for circumcision?
Yeah, circumcision boa ema onya infection. Nti edu ye wo nkwala ne pena say ye mbomode na ye ntwa omobe ma no. So it's necessary to do circumcision for the boys. Nkwala na ya wo mo no enti at our hand enunwa polyclinic no. Ye circumcision wo ho. Obi wo ho a wow and within 1 week or 2 weeks no say ye nhwe na ya atwa akola ne be ma na ya ye circumcision no nti obi wo ha onim obabia obekọ ana ebi onim mpo ba bebia obekọ no eho no enhye da nye papa bia obehun say obi wo ha ye twa ne be ma ne wie pe at the end na the problem bebia akoba ho afei na oberuashi aba hospital na yensam behwe no abia eho nyia saa nti nungwa polyclinic ye circumcision wo ho nti wawo fufuro a onya babia ebeko ana onim babi mpo ba eho no enye eho papa bia bra nungwa polyclinic ye beye ama o aye ni fine ama o eno no oba obetua 120 pe.
All right. At the end of the country, TF1, so sorry, fan of hypertension, the kind of clothing she wear. At least work as a conversation, so the kind of clothing. Any advice for our viewers?
Thank you. My advice is say, yambo modern na yendru clinic, hospital, any health center, biya say, uba be cheki ubipi yewo bibi wo ha ye friend when ye friend wellness clinic ehon udru ha it's not only even on hypertension and blood pressure nkwa but to say we weight are make to say we height BMI your sugar level ne nyina ye cheki ewo honum ma o enti udru honum a wo si o pese ye cheki wo BP ma o ye be cheki ama o na wo de hu ne yie obi wo ha the normal one is 120 so honum ena ase ne ye 80 ena se yesi akosro ana is higher is either 130 so honum ena ase ne be ye 90 ana 140 ebinum kra ebru na eko 200 plus ena enu no dia uto form sisi a we wie ya no ha ena wo ko eba no onim wo de onim se wo de awonde ni wo ho a wo de ko ba se e wo higher how will you know enti udru ho no ma ye be cheki ama na eno no ase no na wo eninam 90 100 110 150 eko da bida ense se emba ne saa ena ye wo omunso omudie no is low BP we have those that theirs is a low BP and that one is 90-60 as no koye 90 na asena koye 60 ana 100 na asena koye 70 at times 105 at times 110 na asena koye 75 thereabout and no theirs is like that omuno sana ya ye omudi amamu say is low BP and say wode no enye papa no esa na wo so nyame aye no amao enzi udu ho no na udi be hu say oh me wo low BP ana me BP no normal ana ewo soro nti udu ho na ewo soro a na ya hwe ho aye adwuma wo ho amao wo hwe so na is normal so a na no so we hu say oh I'm fine na wakoye we adwuma.
Madam Shilai Bedasi said on Sabekaya and Anope our morning focus. So we're going for a break. When we return, there's coming some more conversation. We'll be talking to Peter Bismarck, and right after talking to Peter Bismarck, we'll also be connecting with Madam Awula Sewa. So please don't go away. All right, so welcome back. Right after taking you through the health aspect of our conversation this morning, it's now time for us. We'll be diving into other conversation. We'll be talking to Peter Bismarck Kofi, of the executive director of ELAPI. We're still looking at the issues as borders on Galamsey, and then we go to join Madame Awula Sewa. Also will be joining us. All will be via the phone line as we have a conversation around it. But before that, let's go to the Education Ministry, where yesterday he has a accountability series. Give me, and he's asking that we give him 1 more year to fix the SHS placement challenge. Haruna Drisu. Let's take a listen to the Sector Minister of Education.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I should admit that within the next few weeks, the BEC results would be released. In fact, as I've always indicated as minister, I don't interfere with the work of assessment institutions of WAEC. It is within their domain. But I'm reliably informed by the Director General of GES that on or before 31st of July, the BEC results may be released. I'm sure when it is released, many of you will find a minister hiding, chief director hiding, deputy minister hiding, because you are not able to respond to the demand and needs of parents and to the demand and needs of people or our learners in our secondary schools. Justifiably so. In truth, we have not had the resources to respond head on to this challenge. In order to resolve it, we need adequate resources to expand infrastructure by way of classroom blocks and then lecture theaters. That is why the Star J was introduced. So you may have to give me another 1 year, then I'll be better off in resolving the school placement issues. I understand that some sensitization work is ongoing between the Free Senior High School and the CSSPS Secretariat to get parents aligned. We had to set up a review committee of the placement system itself and to subject it to questions. Does it respect merit? And is it done on basis of favoritism and politicians taking advantage of it to reward protocol and not merit? That is being corrected, and we intend to run an open, transparent placement system. Accordingly, that is why we have revised the CSPS Technical Committee, and we have requested that into this year, BEC students would only make a determination of the choice of school after the results are declared. So you've seen the Director General of GES publicly state, so parents take note, on the weight of the aggregate of your son or daughter, you would know where that daughter or the son belongs. But we endeavor to improve the quality across the country.
So that was the Sector Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu, Honorable, saying we should give him 1 more year to fix the SHS placement challenges. Are we going to see chaos once the results are released somewhere next week or two? 0532158638 is the numbers. You can also share your thoughts with us via WhatsApp. Yesterday, right after the announcement of from the court, the verdict, I don't call it announcement, the verdict from the court that the man at WONTUMI has been jailed. We'll bring you the MPP demands update on the Galamsey petition against some other people found culpable according to them. Some issues that has come. Is it select? The others are looking at that selective, whatever. But let's take a listen to Justin Kodia. He's the General Secretary of the opposition New Patriotic Party, the MPP.
has become of the petition submitted to Economic and Organized Crime Office, IOCO, seeking an investigation into allegations concerning Mr. Joseph Yamin, the NDC national organizer, and Abanga Yakubu, vice chairman of the NDC. We are asking these questions. Mr. President, what has become of those investigations? What has happened to Honorable Mohammed Yakubu, NDC MP for Ahafo South, Ahafo South East, and his DC who was sacked from a chief's palace after they alleged that he was heavily involved in Galamsey in their traditional area? What happened to the NDC MP for Aworin, Honorable Oscar Ofori Labi, who was accused by the chiefs and the people of Aworin, as well as Ghana's coalition against Galamsey, for engaging in Galamsey? Why has the nation not witnessed the same level of urgency and determinations in those matters? Justice cannot be selective. And I repeat, justice cannot be selective.
Process.
Let me assure all members of the New Patriotic Party and the good people of Ghana that Chairman WONTUMI is not alone. There is no justification for the judgment since the judge obviously ignored clear evidence exonerating WONTUMI. The New Patriotic Party stands firmly with him. Our legal team has already commenced the necessary steps to challenge his judgment through the appellate process. The MPP considers WONTUMI a political prisoner. The MPP considers WONTUMI a political prisoner. The MPP as a political party considers WONTUMI a political prisoner.
The High Court in Accra on Monday sentenced Chairman WONTUMI to 20 years imprisonment on each of the 2 counts on which he was convicted in the Akunta mining illegal mining case. The sentences are to run concurrently. In addition to the custodial sentence, the court fined WONTUMI.
All right, so that was the General Secretary of the Opposition, the NPP, Justin Kodia, speaking to the press yesterday on the issue that borders down on the sentencing or the conviction of WONTUMI. We're still looking at it. You can also join us on 0537158638, 0537158638. Remember, earlier we spoke to our first guest this morning in the person of the Executive Director of GTK Center for Human Security and Peace Building, Adib Sani. We're looking at a WONTUMI's 20 years sentence, a new dawn in the fight against Galamsey, or a symbolic victory, whichever way. We spoke with him. We'll also be going beyond the legal implications of the case lies a broader policy questions. What systemic reforms are needed to permanently defeat illegal mining? We'll be looking at that in a jiffy. We'll be talking to the policy analyst, social entrepreneur, economic freedom advocate, and founder of the Institute for Liberty and Policy Innovation, ILAPI, on the same subject, but we're looking at it from a different angle on this matter. So, like I said earlier, we're done with our second guest for this morning. We are looking beyond the legal implications of this case lies a broader policy question. What systemic reforms are needed to permanently defeat illegal mining? And to help us examine the policy and the governance dimension, now we welcome our second guest in the person of Peter Bismarck-Kofi, policy analyst, a social entrepreneur, economic freedom advocate, a founder of the Institute for Liberty and Policy Innovation, ILAPI. A very good morning to you, sir. Good morning, sir. Hello, good morning, Mr. Peter Bismarck.
Morning, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Right. So I'm asking that beyond the legal implication of this case, lies a broader question, and that is what systemic reforms are needed to permanently defeat the illegal mining?
So anyway, a very good morning to your viewers. The issue of calamity is a complex one, and the solutions are multifaceted. There can't be a one way or a dualized system of addressing it. Highly multifaceted because it stems from livelihood, it stems from political, so that will be the economic, the political, the legal, and social issues facing the country. So until we are able to align these things I mentioned, we will always addressing the symptoms. And the entire calamity is a system on its own. It's a new song, it's a new system. And once it's a new system, that's almost becoming legitimate. Calamity is becoming legitimate because now everyone is getting involved. And in a system where illegal activities become a norm, often we try to find a law to contain or to regularize it. So I can give you a technical example how to do with Okada. Like look at Okada, for example. It is not part of our transport or traffic system. And now the state or the government is trying to find a way to legalize it. Right? So illegality then becomes a norm, and from being a norm, we then codify it and we find a way to make it legalized. So in fighting it has to be conscious, not just a framework, not just providing livelihood for those involved, all right, not just arresting those involved, because the system, how many times have we arrested people? Now, it's also not about seizing of materials or excavators used in mining. Neither is also not a way of saying that the Chinese involved should not come to visit the country, right? Or we should just find a way to ensure that the Chinese, when they come and they are involved in these illegal activities, we arrest them and deport them. We've seen all these things. It's also not a way of putting together a task force. You've seen the various bankers, seen the various military task forces from 2010 up to date. So for about 15 years, you will not be able to change environmental terrorism. They just do that the most sensitive issue. And that means technical alignment and consensus activity. So the system is used and it's not a one way. But the traditional system is so involved. Not the system. Traditional system, economic system, social issues, in the judiciary, because the cases go to court. And most often, what do we hear? How many Ghanaians have been arrested and jailed, including the foreigners? Right? But what we see here is just one conviction, right? What we are speaking about the 20-year sentencing of WONTUMI. Look, it's just one conviction. And one conviction does not dismantle the system that sustains calamity. Right? One conviction is not enough. So the real test is whether or not enforcement become consistent rather than selective, impartial, across political parties and social classes. Also, whether or not enforcement are predictable rather than dependent on public action, right? And also systemic, targeting financiers, facilitators, officials, and beneficiary owners. And finally, I think we should also look at whether or not enforcement becomes supported by environmental restoration and institutional reform, right? So there's a conviction that is leading to institutional reform. It is environmental restoration, right? So the fact that WONTUMI reportedly still faces other legal proceedings also illustrates that the case is part of a broader enforcement process rather than a complete resolution of the Galamsey problem. So it is not a one-way thing. Neither can you realize it, but it's an interconnected framework we have to address the issue of Galamsey. Other than that, the symptoms we will be addressing. Sometimes with the symptoms start becoming complex, right? So once we try to make the symptoms more complex, then the underlying solution can't be implemented because we are always seeing arrest, prosecute. But the huge issue and the dominant issue always about what? The livelihood, which is economic.
Now, talking about the issues that are taken as systemic, I mean, what gaps in our mining governance system have allowed illegal mining to persist for so many years?
You're asking what gaps, right?
Yes, I'm asking that what gaps in our mining governance system have allowed the illegal mining to persist for this quite number of years that we're fighting this menace.
So the biggest, so the dominant enforcement, right? Equal enforcement. It looks like the same standard. The same standards are not applied to all individuals involved in illegal mining, regardless of political affiliation or influence. Right? It's not the case. So when it happens that way, you may have to form a cartel to join one influential group or one political team that will give you the leverage to do what you do. Right? So there's no equality for the law when it comes to issue of even issuing mining licenses, ensuring renewal, right? Because our politics where it's involved. I mean, the complex is involved, the EPA, the Water Resource Commission, the Minerals Commission, the Ministry of Environment. You know, the selective nature of people issuing the licenses is another problem. And then enforcing the rules. You see, the enforcement is not about after you have put the license or when the company is mining in any other form. The enforcement starts from when the license is about to be issued. Are the companies and the individuals involved teaching all the various standards? It's just like when you started to well, it is time for you to go to mental experiment or test or whatever before you can own a gun. Right in this time. Fair enough. Yes, you need this mental assessment before you own a gun. Do we do similar thing by looking at the criminal records of these individuals who are applying to obtain mining licenses? What are the background checks? So the enforcement starts right from the person's intention, right? The intention starts. And then the legal framework, I mean, the requirement one must meet, must not always be in the form of written legal requirements. You see, so the whole thing has been legal requirements. But there should be issues of security, social, and economic to understand whether the person is coming to the right thing. And because of political affiliation, enforcement is the biggest threat to fighting crime. And then the biggest issue, another issue has to do with livelihood. It's also a gap where people are highly unemployed, and those employed are also underemployed. People will fight all means, make them sustainable and live a good standard of living. And that is what we are seeing. So you will have PhD graduates, masters in environment, you have graduates from the universities with MBAs and various degrees, all involved in Galamsey. And how well do we, make ourselves more conscious? The education system is more, as you say, more driven. But how conscious are we turning out our students, the mindset in ensuring that the environment is well protected for all of us? Okay, so the legality is there. Then we have to come to learn. And then we also have to be conscious about it. These things are highly, highly missing. So, another issue is that we also don't have properly written, measurable aspects and outcomes in fighting Galamsey. So the whole thing has been, you know what, the water is polluted. Let's see the water is clean. Like, once the water is clean, what's next? How are we measuring the outcome of the water being cleaned from the environment? Because not all Galamsey activities pollute water. Correct? Most are done in the deep forest where rivers are not flowing. All right. So it is more like we are destroying the land, where others are also destroying both land and water. And others are also destroying water because some also mine directly in the water. You know, so the web of activities involved and the kind of enforcement we have, the root governing, it is more legal than social, than environmental, than economic, than cultural. And that is the gap they are facing. Because if you on sit down and leave the issues of politics out and address the entire Galamsey environmental damages as a way of ensuring our survival, yes, we can get it.
Now, talking about enforcement, with the WONTUMI conviction, which has raised questions about accountability, how do we ensure that the enforcement is consistent regardless of the person's political affiliation or influence?
That's a good question. You know, what they have seen and observed, what's going on, is more political than for reform. Right? It's more political than for reform. So, at the end of the day, you know, if truly this is for reform, I'm not sure the opposition party will hang around testing and having press conferences protesting. You can get that. The reform is for all of us, but not for this. But here, the outcome is against the few, which is even one person, as against the entire system of Galamsey. Right. So the outcome for me is not reform driven. Right. It's like we want to show you that we can do it. We can do it against your own, and we have done it. Right. Although some may see it as a way of forcing reform or trying to put fear in other big ways or campaigns, that's not the answer. So I put it as the system. So in this case, politically influential and prominent business people, how many of them have been convicted in major Galamsey related? That we can see, well, we are strengthening the principle of our political system in terms of wealth connection. Right? What are we doing towards that? So there are more questions than answers. There are more questions than answers with this outcome. That's what I'm saying. The conviction of one person, alright, does not dismantle the system that sustains Galamsey at all. It is just a political action. So it's going through the legal process to judiciary. So if you look at the entire the outcome, the judgment itself, you can read that. Look, then a contaminant is wasn't into mind and into legal mind, right? By giving part of the consent to someone legally. It's just like saying, you know, after the country, when you start after the country, you and I know very well that sometimes you don't have the papers to work. Someone can give you his or her papers to work, right? And that's the and when you are arrested by the police of that country, can be deported, can be whatever. That is what you are observing. I have a typical example. I have a license, driver's license, and I'll give it to you. Maybe you look like I used to drive and make some income. People often, they are giving cars, drive, make income or make sales, and then they give it to another person. They have a term calling it spare, right? That's what we have observed. So if you look at the entire legal maneuvering around what the case is, it's just more political than policy reform. And the outcome to me is not precedent on our effort in fighting Galamsey. It's just a way of convicting a well-known person connected to a political party. Hence, you see the also coming up with what they have to support the Mr. WONTUMI.
Interestingly, but most people will say, how can Ghana regulate this small scale mining in a way that protects the environment, as whilst also allowing citizens to also benefit from the country's mineral resources? Is there a way to that?
The rules are there. The rules are there. How to do it, when to do it, the processes involved, the requirements, they're already there. Look, if you have 1 million Ghanaians mining, and they are mining within the rules effectively, and the laws are applied efficiently and equally among everyone within the mining ecosystem, we shouldn't be where we are. But if I'm highly connected to a political party government, and I had been one of their financiers for what I often call static government, right? You don't see those people. And those people who run the economy, who determine who should be the appointed minister, who should not, who determine what connection should sign. Those are the static government. If I'm among these circles, right, and I supported a party being found about 10 million Ghana cedis or 1 million or whatsoever, and I want to apply for a license. Look, they will relax some of the rules as against someone who is genuinely coming to do the same thing. And we've seen it. Some of us are somehow entrepreneurs in our economy, and we want to apply the rules efficiently by going through the various requirements to our licenses. You go through hell. And if you go through hell, what happens? You just have to go into the way of getting results, because you also need to survive. You see, the financiers need to survive. The local Ghanaian, the indigenous also need to survive. The foreigners in the country who are also invested also need to survive. So it's a survival. Right? So until we are able to come to terms to know that what we are fighting is a survival issue, and people will fight to survive, they will do that, irrespective of whatever you want to do. And I'm saying that the law must be applied, and must be applied efficiently. It's because we all want to be connected to someone. Look, if you want to get a job in Ghana, it's about your connection. If you want to do something for your survival, it's about a connection. You must know someone. And how can you build a system or a country by knowing someone before you can survive? By knowing someone before you can start a business. By doing something before you can survive in this country. Everyone will be engaged in that. What is the Mineral Act doing? Right? The Mineral Act initially was not punished. It was zero punishment. There were amended in 2019 and it became punishable. Right? Although the punishable part is important, the sanctions are important, how well are we looking at the moral nature of the law? You see, because the laws lack morality, although we took most of our laws from moral activity, we must still ensure that they are fair enough. But the laws are not made for everyone now, and people are benefiting at their own expense, and that's the case. And so the road to solving this country environmental damage will not be easy. Because look at the flood and how people are able to build in waterways. How were they able to appeal the permit? And they built that, even the assembly who go there for their annual rate, annual ground rate and building rate or whatever. They go for it. So the system is so complex that know someone before you survive. So if you want to do the right thing to ensure the environment, so someone can tell, give me just 5,000, instead of paying 50,000, give me 5,000, and I'll protect you to ensure you mine. And these people are coming from the very institutions, from keys to the regulatory institutions. Say, oh, do that. Why do you even buy fuel at the filling station in Ghana here? And if the fuel you have got, the 1 liter is go up to 1 liter. And there's a regulator to ensure that the 1 liter is up there, the mark. But they are calibrated. But see, it is not up to someone who go there, let's say, and then the company or whoever is involved, the businessman will be selling for money. So they are looking at a country, if you don't keep it, and that the system will fail, and making the price too complex for us. So I'll still emphasize that one conviction does not dismantle them, that will still develop.
One conviction does not dismantle, and that's what brings me now. Now, looking ahead, do you believe that Ghana is moving towards a more institutionalized fight against Galamsey, or we are still vulnerable to political influence and inconsistency?
We are more vulnerable and more inconsistent. I mentioned that the real test is whether enforcement that becomes consistent rather than selective. And the selective is political. Selective is political. And whether the enforcement becomes impartial across political parties and social classes. And you can see what we are observing. So we are becoming more vulnerable than ensuring reforms. Because the rules are already there. I'm saying that one conviction not fund the system. This conviction also will not lead to any reform. So what to be the reform? If you want to, so, for example, in a conscious society, this very conviction to really start deterrent others. But now, people should be moving away from this Galamsey side. As we speak, people are moving early in the morning. From 4 a.m., people are already moving to that way. No one cares about the conviction. There's only one person. I have shown that I am demanding. There are others who are shadowed within the ecosystem. No one knows them. You don't know them, but they are involved. And I can tell you that if churches are involved, churches have concessions. So the church must teach morality. So the church is involved. Right? So we are vulnerable, and we are becoming more vulnerable than people think about, because we are not having the solutions in place. All what we are doing is addressing the symptoms. When the last time we heard that the task force, to some extent, have arrested and prosecuted this number of people. Can our teachers say the number of people who have been prosecuted for the past 10 years or the past 5 years? How many of them? And at the end of the day, what does it see? Statistics are very important in running an economy,
sure,
in solving problems. Okay, so how are people involved illegally or illegal mining? I mean, for the past 5-10 years, the solutions we put in place, what has been the reduction rate? Okay, well, initially, 5,000 acres of land across the country, example, are being damaged. Our reform has reduced it to 3,000. In the next 3 years, projection, we have only 1,000. In the next 5 years, we have only 500 people, and we can kill it. What's the plan? So we are vulnerable. And political parties only come to speak, talk, make noise, because sometimes we are those in Accra, it's very expensive. So we talk, make noise, and it ends there. But the problem is huge. I have been to most of these sites before. And in my own hometown, it's happening there in Chapa. You see, you be in your room and you hear noise under the building. The people are there, human beings are there. They are trying to survive. They don't care. People are dying. They don't care. That is just someone will really take money and go to war, because he knows that after the war you'll be killed. Because you need to survive. So, if our moral-based laws are not, if our laws are not morality, you will not be able to address it and become more vulnerable. That is why you can see that cost of water is not becoming expensive. Everything is becoming expensive. Food is becoming expensive. Right? Consumption is becoming now. And you need to find a way to do it. And that way is what I've done is multifaceted. It's not just the law, right? The economic must come in, the cultural part of it must come in. Recently I saw a community, I think a Konongo or so, the chiefs are moving around the Galamsey side with eggs and snaps, calling on the gods like them because they are destroying the environment. Right? And action has been taken by the community. But you know, this is the spiritual part of it, this is the cultural part of it. How do we learn the cultural part of what they want to do with our legal system? After the economics of it. Because after the Galamsey is the livelihood issue. If we don't address the dominant part of it, no law can fight Galamsey. No law.
No law.
What is happening is not about law. What is happening is more economic. still the dominant, but the leader part is also important. But the laws can fight because you can't arrest all the financiers within the country into our various cells. Can't happen because even the people arresting are also part of the process, the system. The system is part of the system. Now I'm saying that are we looking at it as a national security issue, as a political issue, as a political issue, as an economic issue, as a cultural issue, and as a social issue? And all these things I've mentioned, the thematic areas I've mentioned, are huge. Any country wants to survive must address these things. And in public policy, it is a primary thing to draw a framework and ensure that one, they are interconnected and they are interdependent. Whether they are interconnected or interdependent, we will be able to ensure success and measure progress with successes. And then we can see this outcome with our eyes and get the conviction and saying, yes, we have convicted someone, so it should serve as a defense to others. No, this is more precisely you can do. Or else, people, to some extent, people in actual government, who are, the current government, when they were in opposition, there were most of their people on trial. When they came to power, what happened? They brought all of them, including, I don't mention it. There are people were and these things were nullified, and now they are working free. And you want to do this to another party, you also come with the issue of table with 10. So the table with 10 politics is what we are facing now. And as I said, we are more vulnerable than being consistent with the fight against crime.
Now, if you had the opportunity to advise government today, what are the top 3 reforms you would have recommended to end illegal mining permanently or maybe minimize it?
Yeah, so the first thing I'll talk to government about, government has the monopoly to make laws, monopoly to enforce the laws. So if you have that monopoly to make laws and enforce the laws, be consistent with it. Build capacity in that area because it is your primary role. You see, the primary of the state is to have that monopoly. You and I cannot make laws, right? You and I cannot sit and say, no one should cross this bridge. You can't make that law. It is the state. So once you have that monopoly, build capacity in that area and ensure efficiency. That's the first thing. The second thing is about the economic and the livelihoodness of the central administration. It's not a matter of political means to create jobs. Things can be trained in ABCD, government, livelihood projects, come and participate in XYZ, government sponsored and poverty projects. No, that's not what the youth need now. No, at all. That's what the youth need. What they need is an efficient system that creates opportunity. Efficient system that will not create monopoly for one person to be the gatekeeper and ensure people have to come through him before you can be successful. No, that's the system we want. And such a system can also be built within a year or 5. It should be a conscious thing. The government must just put in the necessary framework, work with the important technocrats, neutral, include who will always have the country at heart, and not those who are always appointed and giving jobs to enrich themselves. Such a system wouldn't give us the necessary outcome of the fight against calamity. But when now all the RFS are moved in there, they enjoy doing that than to rob. So what you see is a lot of petty thieves, right? Petty thieves. Sometimes you see these robbers robbing and they invest the money into calamity. So go to calamity side, you find them there more than you find them in the street now. Right. So the issue is ensuring a conscious system with a long-term plan being administered and implemented within the right time for people to pay for themselves the they need and survive. And they can leave the environment with control. So the enforcement is the key. Some of them things I'll mention when it comes to the other issue of opportunities increase. So you don't have a politician recruiting people into police and be happy to tell the whole world that I've facilitated the recruitment of 10 policemen in my constituency. In this modern society, who does that? I mean, who does that? Even the shame in saying that alone tells you that, look, there's no focus. The country has no focus. There's no promised land for us. There's no dream for the country. Right? So it is time for us to shift from the issues of having people being connected for can survive, then enforce the law. These are the two simple ways. So, look, there are people in countries like Norway, right?
You have just 1 minute remaining. You can dial.
Well, quite unfortunate with loss of Peter Bismarck Coffee. We want to say thank you for joining us this morning, sharing your perspective on the policy and the governance reforms needed to address illegal mining in Ghana. As our discussion has highlighted, the fight against galamsey cannot be won through persecutions alone. It requires strong institution, consistent enforcement, sustainable economic alternative, and a national commitment that goes beyond political circles. The question remains whether Ghana can transform this moment into a lasting opportunities to protect our natural resources, strengthen accountability, and build a confidence in our system of governance. We appreciate your time and your contribution to this important conversation. Stay with us here on Morning Focus on MBN TV. After the break, we continue the discussion from environmental perspective. This morning, we started with the security aspect of it. We moved to the policy. Now we're looking at the environmental perspective with Awula Sewa, environmentalist, environmental activist, and the founder of the Eco-Conscious Citizens, and also a member of the Ghana Coalition against against anti-galamsey, right? He's also a member of the Ghana anti-galamsey campaigners. We will examine the impact of the illegal mining on Ghana's forest reserves and also the rivers and the future generation. Don't go away. We will be back after this break. All right, so welcome back from the quick break. Are you still live on the morning focus? Just gone by, we had a conversation with Peter Bismarck, the man who is on the line. Now we're going to the line. We'll be talking to Madame Awula Sewa of the Ghana Coalition of Anti-Galamsey. We'll be talking with her right away. And so, PCR, please, she is ready and waiting for us to have a conversation with her. So if you could do us that honor by making sure we get her talking to us right away. We're crossing over to have that conversation with her right away, and it has to do with issues that boils down to Galamsey this morning. So we're trekking down to have that conversation beyond the conviction, what policies will end illegal mining in Ghana. Like I said, from party perspective, from all those issues. Now we're transiting, as we've discussed, the security, the governance, and then the policy dimension of the fight against illegal mining. But at the heart of the Galamsey crisis is the damage being done on Ghana's environment, our rivers, our forests, our farmlands, and the livelihoods of our communities that depends on them. We'll be crossing over to join Madame Awula Sewa on the line. He's a founder and a convener, eco-conscious citizens, environmental activist, and also a barrister. She's also a convener and also a founder and eco-conscious citizens, environmental activist, and a barrister who joins us. We're going to discuss, we've discussed the security, we've looked at the governance and the policy dimension of the fight against Galamsey, against illegal mining. But the heart of the Galamsey crisis is the damage being done to Ghana's environment, our rivers, our forests, our farmlands, and the livelihood of our communities to depend on them. To help us understand the environmental consequences of what must be done to restore our natural resources, we are joined by Awula Sewa, the founder and the convener of Eco-Conscious Citizen, an environmentalist and a barrister who has been a strong voice for environmental protection, climate justice. Good morning, madam.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Great.
And that's one of the leading voices. Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us on the MBM TV. Now, from environmental perspective, what does the conviction and then the 20-year sentence of Chairman WONTUMI means for Ghana's fight against illegal mining?
Yes. Nobody is gloating over the conviction and the very long sentence. But the fact of the matter is that we are facing an existential threat as a consequence of irresponsible mining. Water is life. 60% of our water bodies have been poisoned. Our forests play an important role. Our forests are being decimated by illegal mining. Confanoche Teaching Hospital tells us about the fact that the rise in kidney disease has gone up 4 times. We know about the maternal death, the deformed babies. So illegal mining is causing a lot of health concerns in Ghana. We face an existential threat. And for a long time, the fight doesn't seem to be going anywhere because unfortunately, highly placed persons on both sides of the political divide problem. So it should recall under the past administration, allegations have been made against Chairman WONTUMI, but the president had come out to exonerate him. And right now, he has been arrested, prosecuted, convicted. This should send a clear message to anyone involved in illegal mining that your turn might come. So just stop it. Stop illegal mining and find something else to do. Because you cannot poison the name to get rich. It is unacceptable. So hopefully, those currently involved, whether highly placed or not, begin to understand that even if they show that under this administration, the situation is permanent. No matter how long it takes, change takes place, and you can then be arrested and prosecuted.
Interestingly, but after years of galamsey activities, what is the current state of Ghana's forests, the rivers, and the farmlands?
Oh, you only have to go up and down the country and see the Chanfan still on our water bodies. You can see the color of our water bodies. The illegal miners are still in our forest reserve. In Etiwa, for instance, illegal miners are still there, destroying what was once a pristine forest reserve. So we are calling for Etiwa Forest Reserve. You know, it's a globally significant biodiversity area. We're calling for it to be declared a national park so that it will be afforded better protection. We also have the Draw River Forest Reserve, where mining is going to take place. And civil society organizations are saying that please don't go and mine there because it will affect the Draw River. And we don't need that. Enough of our water bodies have been polluted. So to answer your question, go up and down the country, and you can see that illegal mining is still going on with impunity.
Now, if you look at the damage, can the damage caused by this illegal mining be fully reversed, or some environmental losses are permanent?
You see, I don't know about it being fully reversed. I know that the damage takes a very long time. When the mercury and example entered the soil, it takes a very long time to remove it. Our scientists will be in a better position to advise. But it takes a long time, and it's also very, very expensive. That is why we should not be allowing illegal mining to be going on. I'm not sure that Ghanaians understand the magnitude of the problem. The fact that water is being poisoned. And the Ghana water, for example, has probably moved the heavy metals from the water. That they don't announce themselves. So, for example, if water is coming through your tap and it is transparent, it doesn't mean there's no mercury, arsenic, or cyanide in it. So, to answer your question, the damage being done is long. It lasts a very long time, and it will take a lot of effort.
That we keep losing her online.
Yes, hello.
Yes, so now we could hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, we can now hear you now.
Yes, there's a lot of background. I'm not even sure. There's a lot of background.
Is it better now?
I think it's a bit better now.
All right.
But when I speak, I can hear the echo. But anyway, it's a very, very long process to remove the poison from our landscape and our water bodies. And that's why we need to stop it. We cannot put economics for the health of the people. And if you do the...
We keep losing Madame Aula Sewa on the line. We'll pray that we'll be able to get the line stable to keep talking with her. We've looked at the security aspect of the conversation this morning. We've also looked at the policy aspect. And then we're now looking at the...
Shall I continue or shall I stop?
No, continue.
Yeah, so what we are saying is that it's a very difficult situation. You cannot put economic prosperity before the health of the people. If you just take kidney disease, for instance, we will need so many more dialysis machines. And it's not just going for the dialysis treatment. It's not a very good treatment to go under. It takes a toll on your body. So why don't we rather prevent it and stop the poisoning of our water bodies and through that the poisoning of Ghanaians? And remember, illegal mining, apart from affecting the health of Ghanaians, is also going to affect our exports. Very soon, our cocoa will not be accepted. We'll be told it's full of poison. The foodstuffs we export, we might not be able to export them any longer.
That's quite a serious matter. But that this convention send a strong enough message to individuals and companies involved in destroying Ghana's natural resources?
Well, I'm hoping it sends a message. But it cannot end with Chairman Wontumi. He cannot be the poster boy for illegal mining, and then we leave it at that. He can only be the beginning. First of all, others were named in Professor Pomboate's report. That's one thing. But if you go outside of Professor Pomboate's report, even under this administration, allegations have been made. They haven't been proven in court, but allegations have been made. There needs to be investigation of the allegations. And I'm sure that if they are properly investigated, prosecution should follow. We cannot stop with Chairman Wontumi.
But how important is impartial enforcement when it comes to protecting Ghana's environment?
Well, the law has to be impartial. It can never be selective. If we want people to have confidence in the legal system, we need to go after everybody who is committing crime. We cannot be selective. And there's the perception that when the law enforcement is going to enforce, sometimes they are stopped from going to certain areas because certain people have their illegal concessions there. So this needs to stop, and we need to go after everybody who is involved in illegal mining, from those at the top to those at the bottom. The law cannot be on the specter of person. So if we don't see more prosecutions of high flyers, persons who think they can be shielded, then there'll be concern about how fair it's protected. But yes, the conviction of Chairman Wontumi sends a strong message. The message will go and say that it doesn't end there. If others under this current regime as well are arrested and prosecuted, because it doesn't start and end with Chairman Wontumi.
It shouldn't start and end with Chairman Wontumi. Brings me to my next question. I want to find out, what role should communities living in the mining areas play in protecting our natural resources?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question well.
Yeah, I was asking that, what role should the communities who are living in our mining areas play in protecting our natural resources? I think we're losing her again, but we try to raise because I need to find out this from the environmental perspective of it, because the communities living in our mining areas, what role should they also play in making sure our natural resources are preserved, not destroyed, their habitats, the livelihood?
The chief is a powerful advocate of preserving his rainforest and water bodies, and they have stood up against illegal mining, together with community champion Father JB. Now, there are other communities where, for example, at Ronsu, they were a farming community, cocoa farmers. They tried to resist illegal mining, and the activists rather were arrested while the illegal miners were walking free. They were arrested on Farmers' Day, 8 November 2024. By God's grace, the Attorney General has now dropped the charges, and the case against the activists has been struck out. But before then, the message being sent was that if you're activist and you try to resist the high flyers, the prosecution will be brought against you, intimidation, and you will face prosecution. But I think with the striking out of the case against the Action 25, a message is being sent that communities should resist illegal mining, and the state apparatus will not be used to intimidate them.
I think that's a good thing to hear. But how can we ensure that the fight against Galamsey becomes a long-term national agenda rather than a political campaign issues?
You see, all we can do is that all of us, you journalists are doing a brilliant job. You need to keep on bringing illegal mining to the forefront. You need to keep highlighting cases, high flyers who are involved, selective justice, communities who are being intimidated for resistance. If all these matters are amplified, it will force the government to take action. You need to also add your voice to asking for the water, for Ghana water results, to publish the water results, so we know how serious the situation is. So the media is a very important partner in the fight against illegal mining. And then communities need to understand that they're being poisoned. They cannot sit idly by whilst they're being killed. What is the point of getting a bit of money and tomorrow you are going for kidney treatment? It doesn't make any sense. So we all have to work together. Ultimately, it's the government that has the state apparatus at their disposal. They have the power to ensure that the duty bearers do their job and go after the illegal miners. So in any community where there's illegal mining, you have to hold the chiefs accountable, the political authority accountable, and the police command needs to have KPI, key performance indicators, because illegal mining is criminal activity. So the police command needs to explain why they can't stamp it out. Is it political interference? Tell us what is going on. It's only then, and then the churches have to start speaking out. People are bringing their tithes. Where is the money coming from? The churches need to let the congregation know that we have a God-given mandate to take care of the environment. We cannot be part of the destruction of God's creation. So churches cannot be just places where there's a lot of noise and a lot of shouting. Churches need to speak to their congregation, because in every church, the congregation members are involved or complicit in illegal mining. So we all have to fight this cancer before it destroys all of us. That ultimately, political authorities that have tools at their disposal.
Now, you've been an environmental activist. Should environmental crimes attract stronger penalties similar to other serious crime?
Yes, I mean, the penalty of 15 years is very harsh. So I think the penalties are there. The challenge is to both involved in environmental terrorism, so actually be arrested and prosecuted. Too many high flyers are being shielded. Let's call it a spade. So I believe that the penalties are there. 15 years is a very, very long time. Even 5 years is a long time. So what would matter if you're not being arrested and prosecuted? So what needs to happen is that there needs to be a seriousness about dealing with things. Those bringing in excavators, those in a position to offer a lot of money, persons to look the other way. We need to deal with the so-called kingpins, and if we do so, we will eradicate illegal mining. It does not have to stay with us.
Well, quite interesting. I know you're pressed with time, but after this landmark conviction, do you believe Ghana is entering into a new era of environmental accountability, or do we still have a long way to go? I think we're losing her.
Continue prosecuting those who we know are involved in illegal mining, at least arresting them and letting the court deal with them. But if we stop with Chairman WONTUMI, then we'll not have achieved anything. We need to continue. This should only be the beginning of many high flyers being prosecuted for illegal mining offenses. And we also need to hold our chiefs accountable. Because if the chief of Jema can stop illegal mining in his community, why can't other chiefs do likewise? We journalists need to ask these hard questions. There are chiefs who are highly respected. Why can't they stop illegal mining, but the chief of Jema can stop it?
If the chief of Jema can stop it, it means that all other chiefs should be able to do same. Now, if they have
the will to do so, and if they also, yes, if they have the will to do so. And I'll say that if the chief, the political authority, and the police command form a hedge and say no illegal mining, it is very difficult for illegal mining to thrive. Where it's right, either the chiefs are complicit, the political authority is complicit, the police are looking the other way. But if all three form a barrier and say no illegal mining, it is very difficult for it to take place.
It is very difficult for it to take place. If you have the opportunity to give government one recommendation, what single action would make the best or the biggest difference in the fight against illegal mining?
Well, there are lots of things, but one thing will be stop shielding persons close to you. Ensure their arrest and prosecutions of the kingpin. Starve them of the money that they are using to perpetrate this cancer. And let your legacy be that you stop this cancer of illegal mining. That's what I'll say to the government. I'll commend the president for revoking EI 144, which has classified parts of Achimota Forest, the last remaining forest reserve in Greater Accra, the lands of Accra. I commend the government for that. But I'd like this administration to go down as the administration that genuinely fought against illegal mining and stopped it. It won't be a question of just replacing cooperative mining with illegal mining. Because right now we found out that a lot of the cooperative mining is also illegal mining. You can call it what you like. If you don't ensure that the proper thing is being done, you will not have achieved much. So this government can go down as the government that helps stop illegal mining. So long as the political will is there, we're going to go after everybody involved, no matter how powerful they think they are.
Well, but I don't know whether you, the last time you did hear the sector minister talking about reclamation. Are the current government reclamation efforts sufficient, or does Ghana need a different approach?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Now, I was asking that, are the current government reclamation efforts sufficient, or does Ghana need a different approach when it comes to reclamation of the lands that have been destroyed?
Yes, reclamation, the experts should take them. They know what needs to be done. All we as civil society organizations can say that should take place, restoration should take place. But our scientists know what should be done. But we know that it's a very expensive business, and it's also very costly. We are looking at this whole mining that is taking place. You see, it's short-term gain, but long-term, it is no gain at all. The reclamation is costing a lot of money. In addition, we are mortgaging the health of Ghanaians. Very soon, so many Ghanaians will be suffering from kidney disease. I was talking to a doctor in the so-called illegal mining belt, and he was telling me that when he was practicing about 10 years ago, people who came with kidney disease were in the 60s, 70s. Now they are teenagers coming with kidney disease. So what we have to realize is that we can't sacrifice our long-term future for short-term gain. Reclamation is a very expensive business, so don't put yourself in a position where you need it. Stop all forms of illegal mining and stop issuing small-scale licenses like confetti. If you want to do mining, there's a lot of investments to start with. Not everybody can afford it. So shortcuts are being taken. And if we don't have the resources to monitor and ensure that those with licenses are not engaged in illegal mining, to recall that report by saying that even if you have a mining license, if you are going outside the parameters of the license, you're involved in illegal mining. Just like you have the driving license. Because you have a driving license, you can't go through red lights. You can't drive on the sidewalk. You have to obey the highway code. You don't have the resources to monitor and check that those with the licenses are mining within the confines of their license. Our information is that a lot of them are involved in illegal mining and nobody is monitoring.
Wow.
So let's be a bit circumspect about the issuing of mining licenses when we know what is going on the ground.
When we know what is going on the ground, Aula Sewa, thank you very much for joining us this morning and sharing your insight on environmental implications of the fight against illegal mining.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Well, your contribution have highlighted an important reality. Galamsey fight on the crisis is not only about law enforcement, but also about the future of Ghana's rivers, forests, farmlands, and the livelihood of our generation yet unborn. Whilst conviction and accountability are important steps, the bigger challenge remains restoring degraded lands, protecting our natural resources, and ensuring the environmental laws are enforced consistently without fear or favor. We appreciate your time, your continued advocacy for environmental protection and sustainable development. Stay with us here on MBN Morning Focus. This Morning Focus on MBN TV. We now move the conversation into the political space. We'll be having some political, so we engage with some other, but in between time and now, we'll go for your phone in. I will pick your phone calls, your reactions, and then your thoughts. We have three three conversations, all borders down. One is about security, the other borders down on the policy direction, and the final one is about the environment. And these are all gears down to the conviction. What has it brought to us? Is it the beginning of a new dawn in Ghana? You can also join us on 053-715-8638. It's the numbers also between me afre. And now you're treating Komono beings. Yama Koso, a fee, anti-galamsey, and some Chairman WONTUMI, wait here, MPP4, wait here, and we've had all the devices. We've sent, we've gone to the court. The man has been convicted 20 years, running concurrently with other cases, 300K fine slap on him, and so on and so forth. We've listened to the security aspect of this conviction in terms of the galamsey fight. We've looked at the policy direction in terms of the fight, and then we'll look at the environmental and enforcement aspect of it as well. So you've heard three different voices. A bit sunny talking to us on issues that borders down security and human life. We'll talk to Peter Bismarck Kofi, who share his thoughts on the policy direction, and Aula Sewa also talking to us about the environment. I mean, it's quite an interesting conversation this morning, Tuesday, the 21st day of July 2026. You can also join us on 053-715-8638 with your thoughts. You try and we'll read a few messages that has come in, and then we'll get to pick your thoughts on it. Thanks for staying with us. All right, so welcome back from the commercial break, and also welcome back having that conversation. Me and PK also will talk, but let's read these few messages. This one is from Eben from Kwabenya. It says, "Good morning, I am Eben from Kwabenya. The MPP can describe the jail of a WONTUMI anyhow, but no one cares, because we can allow one person to call himself a governor of a region to destroy our forest and go freely. At least justice has been done to our forest." And he sends his greetings to the Chief of Staff and also Peter Kwesi Mensah Shipyard and Honorable MC of Agbo Ga East. And then goes to Capito Menshia. It's still possible for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the MPP come 2028. Chairman WONTUMI, don't worry. God is in control. Very soon things will change. Regards to Honorable Mavis Hawa Kumsin and Justin Frimpong, their secretary of the MPP, still maintain it is possible. And that one is coming from Capito in Menchia. Well, you're drinking Common Bebre and okay, so you can also join us this morning. Let's have a conversation. Let's get to hear, pick your thoughts. And so 0537158638. Matish Biana no, but you can also be to me the white travel 0537 158638 numbers no. Let me get to hear you now. The phone line is duly activated. You can join us now. 0537 158638 053.
Hello, Minya.
Yeah.
I want to say,
Nyamia do mo na wonso e boga.
Uncle Pandum.
Boga
Mamachi.
Yeah, Joseph.
And now, myself no bar 7 o'clock. Me PC,
yeah.
Uncle Ponsha.
Amen.
And now 7 o'clock, myself no bar be PC,
yeah.
Let me 2 o'clock. I dear Uncle Ponsha. Ye dear, make a dear assassin one, as say, once the Bianan and them bar, the can't was. You intermediary dear, said you and Hammy Papa. Say no press say, why ya and Hammy. If you submit him a hundred galam say ye Ghana. We go over catches a beer, Mitim, Jimmy Nipa, Mitia, many pa. But you be a galam say, be I would didn't. And yes, and some commission, Omitum can you pass a mum catasso? Or more no man be can anything come out. Omi ya would for would you have to Open. Opio yagam say biani papa. I'm telling you. President to me ko baby or more. So then to me ko baby or more. So be yagam say nya onye papa. I say netra. Nemum adia ha me say. Mo say untimi na yagam say. Person say yagam say no air coffee. That's say one aye. Ani na me kan is me MPP ni no. Nwa ba no a wo ti so no a efuo bibia kura wo no wusu ni nkropa wo ye hwe ade ayoko se oba fo aba se mafu obo nkwaso site kokotokuro ko hwe ade omo ye ofe eni na sio mankran me no ka se ne tototo sisi so se economy ensa no e da fa kwa hafa no south west atuma mponwa ena nka awe in this you hold this in make my catch them say me and me hu I just on for that's what you this for and I'm get
oh
so na say and this for you this the man to just cut and say a bankrupt wo ho we be to gram say the bankrupt wo ho to see na mu wo ho to gram say time na me too I have bankrupt in the few for Udin Basaswa, a credit for young bachelor. Cocoke, a credit to Professor Women's Yonoma. Oh, Galamsen is sell man, we know the national one do. Except Galamsen, your mamma and Cassan for because only a year. Say will be able to say the but Mama Kata and Samsung. I will push you to war. They go and keep it for him, then I am in a yard. Because on top of
the interestingly, 0537158638 and numbers is the numbers and Bobanyocha. I mean, call us. Let's get to hear your views. We're talking. We're looking at one of the runnings, and the conversation continues. And now we want to hear from you, our valued viewers. Your opinions, your questions, and perspective matters because national issues affect all of us. The phone lines are now open. Join the conversation, share your views, let us know what you think about today's discussion. Beyond one conviction, what policies will end illegal mining in Ghana? What should Ghana do differently to win the fight against Galamsey? Do you believe current measures are enough? We want to hear from you. Call us now and be part of the conversation on the morning focus, only on MBN TV. 053715 8638 0537 158 638 0537 158 638. Numbers are also over to me afre. Ameyate wonka anope. 053 into my enter wonka. So whilst waiting for your calls, I got some few other conversations. We can go through some of the porters whilst we wait for your call to come in. WONTUMI was the kingpin, not the underlining Martin Pebble. MPP government had already disowned WONTUMI over alleged illegality before power change, the Fiamekball. West African women and leaders declare violence against women a legislative emergency demand urgent action. WONTUMI was bound to be convicted after prosecution.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Honorable.
Your name, Woody, and where you calling from?
Mpacho Medindi. Medindi Opoku.
Opoku Frefe.
Opoku.
Opoku Tiu Hu TV. Uti Hu TV no so no ne make asenti. E man komo twetwe ne nkoso ye.
Mpacho 1982 that way. That gruesome murder na yeku justice in and yebia those behind it, the perpetrators no were they caught. Mpase mi hunka.
Mate 0537158638 0537158638 is the numbers. You can also join us. 0537158638. Numbers also reach me for numbers in the whole screen. So far, Rama TV no volume na from culture no TV volume abashi, so that we can have a conversation on the phone, not via the TV. WONTUMI was bound to be convicted after prosecution witnessed testimony. Martin Pebble. Ghana cedi slides again as a dollar demand outpaces supply. Depreciation hit 8.89%. Brussels airline flight returns to Accra after mid-air technical fault. Flight cancelled. High Court erred in law in WONTUMI's judgment. John Darko. I have no sympathy for WONTUMI over illegal mining conviction. Inusa Fusheni. WONTUMI taken to Nsawam prison to begin 20-year sentence, Dr. Boachi Dankwa confirms. Why Chema WONTUMI was sentenced to 20 years in prison? Oil settles 1% higher as hopes of renewed U.S.-Iran negotiation offset Houthis threat. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Genoso.
Because we are going to be able to. It was one friend.
Catch a was Obi and Chin to why?
The Masi, Nami Tassin, Yana Yahabako, and Yahim. Yahabako, we are going to the Magif. Yahabako Yahim. I am for time I need to one. I have a pay. Omutan sa tell you the Bola, higher in few, higher higher court, higher police. Testing there, and your papa no more here. But Pia, you are not to one punch for the Amatic nine. And now the correct idea for the Dakoji. Yet, as you go part of the site. Nam doesn't the day person like I found I better than Nako. And penny for Moku, only I am for Katai, because I am for and I'm saying put on account. because as I see people are here as well, and but also what you know. Number two, your class and you do call your friend and entry. So I think or you know what you guy and what dance your premier meeting and that premier meeting. Don't Kagalam say you could know. Oh, it is a old my people to Galam start here. I am for I don't see anybody coming down. And there's some moment that thought that for me. Because as I see the milk with Pia or him or you know, it could be anyhow we need for our Ghana and the poor. I didn't make him for Domino Ayasaniaman, it's your my Ghana. But you could be a good you walk home. German understand Ghana. This is from Banka if you're 2 years. Because we are no bit academic for that say. We need to get for that. Bien what he get to Gallup to winning.
Yes, yeah. Yamin Council on 0537158638. 0537158638. And numbers are also between me after NCB. I sorry you made so made me birthday wishes not a famous na maybe sorry so I don't know. I mean to one cancel my call.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
About you doing the baby of Refi.
About you from an apple from Frederick Master Bookroom.
An apple cook Master Brookroom, Yentiaway.
I read them at us, Namin Count. Into me, say I and count. My best friend, the mammy is the Qatar. Oh, come up or Qatar. I had dinner. I was guarantee someone. To be an example, but I want to know what is guarantee. A year party again, the people, because they are 24 in much over time. So you go. Actually, we are seeing TV show never do. And people who are to guarantee. I'm not going to warning. That's you will start go to me. You go to the assassin, the nurse very guarantee. Or comfort, a swap on your table. We like to see. I am a man of the Qatar, or Qatar, for man who you papa. Papa, it doesn't program we almost the accident. Yeah, what you do yet. Said over a bear fan and crown. That is the Mamu play every time. Half of them, and then the person is the order. Because the ordinary Ghanaian appearance. America president. What can you say? Ordinary America. Ordinary German. And what? I'm one of the way. And some people will be as well. They see me as well. Politicians also talk about how many common. As we see, you know, ordinary more fun than a question. Ordinary Ghanaians. Because of but the only funny, all the ordinary. It's guaranteed, Papa. I be a bit more and more big. I don't forget. Politicians just see and be moving. Because Papa, you want to if you turn a level, train and see back, stop, pause. I do truth. Now, good board, so I'm 8.5. Hey, yeah, you change 20. Now, what person is the Yanaka, the year for man, and so forth of found the two people in one time. Yes, you know, my have the yesterday. That is the MP, almost what about it is just not like the now amount for to know the father of the person. The protest in the rest of your suggest to Kuma, your helicopter, they were drones, and you will be the 5 roads to good year. When a man first, the moment to me is like, I am
And my woman, that you see programmer. You're not Miss the home from next to the other. You got very there's a few to me. For a good master. Correct. What you can say. I get to one them. Is it? And it was it. I'm by. Let me cook at your part. From president, president of I have why you so again a juma towards Dr. Posmai. I think now the one market, they're making nonsense. Everything that could see slow, everything that could see go. I'm excavated to a man, and so happened. And you tell them, say, if anybody is him, put that smoke here to a man. If you are into the police force, some crowd is this car. I put over here, I blame you. I don't need me at one time. And I'm saying, more. What more is going?
All right. Okay, Nana Yabedasi pay for all the way from Kumasi, Abuokrom for joining us. Maybe we can do 1-2 more calls, then we do our birthday wishes, then we pack our bags. My bag is already packed. Then I go for the moment of miracle. Yeah, you need to be there with us this morning, 10 a.m. So it's already started, some 23 minutes into it.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
But you wouldn't be afraid.
But I'm Kazakhstan.
Okay. You're frozen.
But you're a friend of person.
Okay, it's you.
But you're the song. My original. But yeah, I would see my mom is saying that Mona is a Ghana for me. It's you. First one, money, but the more fun, my youth. No, not Ghana. It is the papa. There's no one to need that. They don't be but say, where is it anyway? The crown, the Mr. When I was trying to see it didn't need the real thing. So, fine, I'm doing it together. You know, the whole we are going to see what they do on the thing. From this, I mean, that to try their best, maybe, probably, they will do. Ghana has a problem. They don't have it. Come on, India. It is coming. So, it's in the market. So, why is it in Emma? Let me talk about it. Now, the power faster. That's our pretty one. That's our fine. If you can't watch my then you'll be traveling. When you make now, then I can't watch it. So, if you know, if you see the don't like that, blah, everything. So, when you get a now, time, you are old. I think you know, the cup of family, everything you need. Perhaps, so the audit more, as you are in the phone. Tell you about so number. The man who said, oh, no, go yet, like a brow, come and take him, papa. Ah, dear, no matter, like that, no matter.
Yes, Yadasi, have a good morning out there. 0537158636. 0537158636 is the numbers. You can also join us here. Maybe I can do just one more call and then we can say bye-bye. 0537158638. Numbers are also over to me. Wajintre Afaso. Ma utibi na volume nko from why? Ma utibi volume nko from why?
Yo, mama my.
Hey, yeboa. Good morning.
Now only the and I consider And then I could like a local to the market. I couldn't go past it. There's only you know. Temana ended for Omulomu campaign. Some of the promises now make here. No, what's the dynamic I say? I am person who can say get out. That's the truth. That's the mama who say go back. But you know what? Ghana for most of more. Ghana for Ghana for and then made that 20 years. But where are those? And me, I have a support here and I'm my bino. Now I come a trade target. I come a trade target too. I can't finance minister. The finance minister, I'm about to do it. Can you better? Obana, the 40. I ain't a man. Or I get a mamma island. Every much trouble. And let's have a good to your muta. But where dear, I have a mamma. Yes, this one. This guy is fine. When I had a good to but the baby of the people. And two. I mean, not let over you know the Yamma about me. And your mamma, the thought, fine, trouble. I'm never be a go from who could get Mamma. Another old to make a canon. We don't see.
And that happens to be my final call for this morning as we sojourn for God and we sojourn for country this morning. Let me say a big thank you to the entire team. But let me wish the following persons a happy birthday. Right after that, we will say bye-bye. And this one says a happy birthday to Richmond Alvi, a.k.a. 4KT Risky Boy. Wishing you all the good things in life from your class P, Raymond. Raymond wishing you, Richmond Alavi, a happy birthday with long life, good health, and plenty money. This one says a happy birthday to my lovely friend. This is from Honesty. So Honesty wishes his lovely friend a happy birthday. That God bless you and may your day be filled with love and happiness all the time, and from Honesty. This one also from Honesty is a happy birthday to my lovely friend, wishing you long life and prosperity. This is from Honesty. Happy birthday, Yusuf. So Honesty wishing Yusuf a happy birthday. We wish you long life, good health, and plenty money. And that happens to be my last birthday wish for this morning. It's been a wonderful time. Trust me, I've enjoyed every bit of today's conversation here on the MBN TV Morning Focus. And that brings us to the very end of today's edition of the Morning Focus. We hope our conversations, our analysis, and insight have helped you better understand the issues shaping our nation and the world around us. From our discussion on accountability, governance, health, and national development, we have once again brought you perspective that informed, educate, and inspire action. Remember, staying informed is the first step towards making a better decision and also contributing meaningfully to the society. On behalf of the entire Morning Focus team, I am El Samuels. Thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate your comment, your calls, your continued support. Keep watching MBN TV for more news, updates, and engaging programming throughout the day. Have a productive and a blessed day. And this has been your Morning Focus, where every conversation matters and every voice counts. Stay informed, stay engaged, stay connected with MBN TV. Have a good morning and say a prayer with every heartbeat.